Hey, welcome everyone to the Vikings Playbook Podcast. This is your host, Steve Hoikkala, and I'm coming from you from a hotel room today. So I got with me, a guest today that's going to help me really just kind of dive into the Viking stuff, and that is going to be no other than Zoen. And you might know him from the In the Zone podcast. I'm excited to bring him on today. He's been on before, and you may have seen him. If you can, go out and follow Zoe on social media. That's at In the Zone Pod, and then you can also find him on YouTube at In the Zone Sports as well too. So go check him out. If you're not already following him, please make sure that you're doing that. And again, guys, I didn't hit the intro before we got started, so I apologize for that. But Zoe, I appreciate you coming on, brother, for sure. And with no further ado, let me bring on the man. Zoe, how are we doing tonight?
Steve, what's going on, man? I appreciate you bringing me on your channel, man. I appreciate
that. Absolutely. Welcome to Vikings Playbook. Again, your Sunday starts here, and it's starting with Zoe. So if you have questions for either myself or Zoe, make sure that you put them on X, Facebook, or YouTube, wherever you may be following us today. And at the same time, we'll try to answer your questions, and we have exciting things that we want to go over, and we'll also do a card break. So if you're with us at the end of the show, you have an option to possibly win a cool card. So we'll do a card break at the end of the show, so stick with us. Make sure that you're live so you can put your entry. Basically, how it's going to work is you're going to try to guess what team the player that I pull. I'm going to have a one-of-one card that I'm going to pull. I also got a couple fun packs I'm going to pull so you can see what else I'm pulling as well too. It's kind of one of my hobbies. And then another cool thing that I'm doing as well too that I want to point out to all you guys that are joining us. If you're not already following us, please make sure that you're following us on X, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and then of course YouTube. So the cool, exciting thing that I have for you guys as well on YouTube, if you haven't already seen it, it has to do with the jersey giveaway. So I'm doing an exciting jersey giveaway for those of you that are already following me. Great. The plan is I want you guys to try to help me get to 250 subscribers first. That's the first goal that I have. Once we get to 250 subscribers, then we're going to be able to do something cool. And that cool thing that we're going to end up doing is going to be a jersey giveaway. And the first jersey giveaway that I'm going to be doing is going to be none other than Jordan Addison. So I got a Jordan Addison signed, autographed, certified jersey that I'm going to be doing a giveaway for one of my YouTube subscribers. So this is really cool things that I have out there. You may have seen it on my Vikings Playbook or on my personal Steve Hoikkala X. So go ahead, check that out. And this is the poster for it. So if you want a chance to win, make sure that you're subscribing. Once I get to 250, one of those 250 subscribers is going to win that Jordan Addison jersey. Now, I got more jersey giveaways that I'm going to be doing this year. So this is just the first one. So exciting stuff. I have some cool card giveaways where you have a chance to win some cool cards, one-of-ones, maybe autographed RPAs, which are either worth money, worth value, or just even a keepsake of a player that you really like. So some really cool stuff that I plan on doing this year with Vikings Playbook. So let's check this out and see who's all joining us already. So Angel Duster says, cheers, Scolders. Appreciate you joining. Two-Tone is in the house.
Two-Tone.
Appreciate that. Man, we got Barber Fade Up that's here. We got D Woods, Full State of Mind. If you're not following him, make sure you're doing that too. So appreciate that. And then who else we got in here? We got Edward Gonzalez. Hey, thanks for joining in. Appreciate that. Who else? We got Kinetic. Eric's in the house too. Appreciate it. We had Eric on last week. That's a really knowledgeable guy too. Make sure you're checking out Kinetic 615 on X as well. All right, so guys, we're gonna dive into some of these topics that we're gonna have today. But Zoe, I want you to put out some stuff about your pod. I'm going to go grab the card, but go ahead and tell people again where they can follow you, the cool things that you're doing in your pods, because you're pretty active with your pods. I do once a week pods. Every Saturday is at 9 p.m. CST, but you're doing pods all the time. I'm going to go grab that card here real quick, but go ahead and talk about your pod here real quick. So,
Man, I go live on a regular basis on YouTube. I drop the link to let other Vikings fans or other NFL fans come on. We talk sports. I'm on Instagram real heavy. I'm on TikTok real heavy. And of course, I'm on Twitter though. But I'll just drop the link and let anybody who's a football fan come on. And we just basically talk football for real. That's the way I kind of run my channel.
and Zoe, you're on quite a few different pods as well too. We see you sometimes. I think just saw you. Was it last night? You were actually on SKOL State of Mind with D Woods as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I go live D Woods all the time. We go live all the time together.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, go ahead, check out, everything that Zoe has going on. The guy's everywhere. He's talking about Vikings. He's talking about a lot of good different topics all the time. So just make sure that you're going ahead and you're checking out what Zoe's got going on. I'm just loading some of our topics. I apologize because, like I told you, I'm out of town for work, so I'm not in my normal setup. I've been kind of busy this weekend out of town the last 4 days. So it's been a busy one for me for sure. Now, just because, Vikings, have had, a few different, things that have popped up in the news. It's nothing like major, but we have some things that we want to talk about as well that, maybe we've covered a little bit already. And let's just check out this first topic that I have. Oh, that's not the first one. All right, the NFL draft. Okay, so I know this has been beaten to death a little bit, because we've talked numerous times already, and so you've been on and slightly. We got a little bit of a feel of kind of what you thought about some of our draft picks that we had, and we'll talk about them. But let's start at number 18 and just some of the expectations for my guy Caleb Banks. Caleb Banks, we drafted him first round, number 18, and SKOL Doc, if you don't know who SKOL Doc is, he talked a little bit about basically what it looks like for that foot injury for Caleb Banks and the recovery time. So he had the surgery. SKOL Doc, he's a foot doctor himself. He actually thinks that, Caleb Banks is actually on track. And, I asked him personally as far as, he also has a video if you go check him out too. But he talked about that foot to where he has like a 7 to 10%, about a 7% chance, 7 to 10% chance of re-injuring that foot. So Vikings doctors at TCO, they gave their input as far as, hey, should the Vikings draft this guy? How big of a risk is this? What do you think, though, about, if this is what SKOL Doc is saying? So he's a foot doctor himself. 7 to 10%, first round pick. We've heard people talk about just what kind of a physical monster Caleb Banks can be when he's healthy. Do you think it's worth the risk? I mean, obviously, this is way too early because you don't know, right? And everyone's going to be the person to point out, see, I told you it was too big of a risk if he gets injured. If he doesn't, obviously he could be a huge, some people are even saying when healthy, a comparison for him is Chris Jones. So 7 to 10%, is that obviously it's a risk, it's a gamble, but do you like the gamble?
I like it. Like me personally, the foot injury not really a concern to me. Like people acting like this man had tore his ACL, and if I'm not mistaken, it was a lineman that Dante told me from East Coast Grind that it was a D lineman named Newton. When he came to the NFL, he had the same foot injury at Caleb Banks. And he been a home run. He been a good player for the Commanders. So I'm not concerned about the foot like other people are. But if you look how big Caleb Banks is, look at his arms, look at his height, look at his weight. And plus, shout out to Caleb Banks. He is from Detroit. I got tied to Caleb Banks. So that was a win-win for me. He played football with my little brother out in Southfield. So I like the move at Caleb. Like, we never had a player like that on that defensive line as big as Caleb Banks is, with somebody like B-Flow running the defense. Like, I don't know. Like, some people mad about the pick, but if B-Flow get his hands on Caleb Banks, how big his arm length and his side, like, I love the pick. I love the pick. That's just me, though.
Two-Tone is saying, I wouldn't have minded the tight end either from Oregon. Now, he ended up going at 16 to the Jets, so he just wasn't an option for us. I do like what could have been with Kenyon Sadiq, but at the same time, that's a luxury pick for us yet at this point. I know that TJ, that he could be in his last year and everything, right? But at least for this year and what we needed, and and Two-Tone's talking about it, Big Citrus as well. Man,
Come on, man, like,
you talked about it, and Brian Flores has his hands, his fingerprints are all over this draft as far as how heavy we went on the defense. And people had talked about how they could imagine Brian Flores standing on his head for Big Citrus there in round 3. And at first, I think everyone was kind of shocked that it's Big Citrus, and then you take a little bit and you kind of think about it. You're like, well, we already took a D tackle, but just not only is he potentially insurance, but he's also the plan if it comes together between Redmond, Big Citrus, and Caleb Banks as a future front. Not saying that that's going to be our front to start the year, or rookies. I don't want to throw shade at Levi Drake, Rodriguez, Tyrion Ingram, Dawkins, and Elijah Williams, who all have played well as well. They're going to have a little bit of a leg up in that defense. And, I don't want to count them out as far as at least starting the year. But your future middle of that defense will probably look like Big Citrus, Caleb Banks, and Jalen Redmond. And that should be scary to any opposing offensive line. Right? Yeah. I like that, though.
I don't like man, like, I don't understand Vikings fans, man. Like, some people want a wide receiver. Like, bro, we took Caleb Banks, minus a foot injury. Caleb Banks is going to be healthy by the time when football really get kicked off. But, man, him on that D-line with the rest of the D-line we have, once again, Brian Flores is going to move Big Banks all around. That's going to be a mismatch for a lot of offensive linemen. It's going to be hard for them to, like, guard Big Banks. Then another thing people not looking at, I think Big Banks is going to get a lot of fumbles from that quarterback spot, knocking the ball out of quarterback hands.
I mean, in full state of mind saying Redmond, Orange, and Banks rob. Well, it could have been a risk, but did we rob the bank? We'll have to see if we rob Banks away from some other teams, and that he turns out being cash money for us here in Minnesota. And welcome to Social Network, Brev. Hey, Brev, thanks for joining us as well too. That's awesome. We got you in the house also. Appreciate you guys joining us and showing love as well. So, Brev, if you don't know, and if I haven't given a shout out yet, but I also write for Purple PTSD. So does Brev as well too. So Brevin Bain is another one of our writers. Check us out, purpleptsd.com. They also host this podcast as well on the website. So purpleptsd.com. Go check it out. Vikings News Daily, bringing more information to you guys every day on your favorite team in purple.
Y'all work together?
We do at times.
I never knew that.
So, yeah, absolutely. So we both write for the same website. Now he also writes for heavy.com as well. He's doing a little bit more full-time writing than I am. I have another job outside of this, but yes, we do write. We have the same boss when it comes to purpleptsd.com.
Hey, that's crazy. I'll be reading a lot on Purple PS. I'll be reading a lot on that site, and I never knew y'all was the writers though. That's crazy.
Yeah, Purple PTSD and Vikings Territory is our sister website.
Yeah,
So both those websites, we kind of sometimes we're giving opinions and kind of on both sides of that. So yeah, very cool relationship we have with a lot of those guys. Dustin Baker over on Vikings Territory, Kyle Judry as well too. Ali Siddiqui.
yeah,
So we definitely got some really good talented writers that are always pumping out articles on your favorite team. So
yeah.
very cool stuff.
Be my boy. Like the crazy part is we just got done going live like an hour ago. We just got done on a live stream together.
I said it. Zoe is everywhere. So Zoe is really active out there. So if you haven't heard him before, this guy's all over the place. He's doing podcasts. So again, make sure that you check him out on X because he's always going live somewhere to talk about Vikings. So if you're in the mood to talk Vikings, Zoe is probably somewhere talking about Vikings during the week.
I'll be
So make
trying, man. I'll be
yeah, so
my best.
make sure you're checking that out. Now, getting into some of the rest of the picks that we made during this draft. So it rounded out real well. And I know I got some of your feedback on that. So at two, Jake Golday in the second round. We talked about Big Dom, Big Citrus, Caleb Kiernan, very, very sneaky pick that some people thought was should have been a round two pick that we get as maybe a future backup plan for whether it's O'Neal or if for some reason we can't stay healthy with Darisaw, Jacoby Thomas from Miami, safety we also take in the third round. Then we follow that up with a really popular pick, especially for Kinetic if he's still in here. My guy's a huge Max Bredesen fan. I'm probably sure he either has one coming if he doesn't already. Some kind of a podcast that's probably like 5 hours that breaks down how great Max Bredesen is. But I agree. Having him come in, no CJ Ham, Max Bredesen comes in. He's going to be an awesome addition to that room that gives us a fullback that can really do some damage, not only in the blocking game, but he's versatile as well too as a ball catcher, as a catcher as well. Charles Demmings out of Stephen F. Austin, cornerback Damon Claiborne, which we traded up from the seventh up to go get him out of Wake Forest at running back, a very speedy guy running a 4.31. And then also Gavin Gerhardt, we finally pick up a center, but I think Blake Brandell is, and I wrote about it already before. Blake Brandell is probably going to be your guy. But when we take a look at these picks, so who is, some of these players that just pops out to you that you really liked in this draft that we had,
Man, I'm not
other
gonna
than
lie
Blake
to you. I ain't
and
gonna lie
Dom?
to you. Of course, I love Max. That's my Michigan guy. He could
Mm-hmm.
play fullback, and he could play tight end. So that's a 2-for-1. But I really love that linebacker. I love the safety and Banks. Like a lot of people, it's crazy. Like we write Banks off. He never I think Banks is going to cause a lot of trouble on that defensive line, man. I like Thomas. I think he's gonna come in right away and contribute. And I like that. I love the linebacker because that linebacker we picked up, he also can cover. Like he can
Mm-hmm.
cover
Yep.
good too, though, and he can tackle real good. So that was a big hit to me. And like I said, man, we got Brian Flores about to get the young kids ready for the pros. Then we got other people in the building that are already pros. They're gonna show the young bucks the way to do the thing, how the defense should work. And I just think, man, I think the defense is gonna be better compared to last year. I got
Yeah,
big, I got big expectations for the Vikings this year, man.
we added depth. We did bring back Ivan Pace at that low tender, but we brought in a second round linebacker out of we like Cincinnati, right? Especially Cincinnati linebackers. But we go out and we get Jake Golday that adds some good depth. He's an off the ball linebacker, but we add him in, and now we don't have as big of a hole between Eric Wilson, Blake Cashman, and then going to Ivan Pace and nothing. So we now bring in Jake Golday, who seems like at least in college, can he bring that same impact? Very versatile. The guy is even playing coverage in the slot.
Yeah,
So he can do some multiple things. He can play in coverage, and that's some crazy versatile stuff that he's able to do. RAS wise, people are comparing him to, how Andrew Van Ginkel scored out on the RAS scale. So just high expectations for Jake Golday as well. I think Tiernan has the ability to step in and at least initially be a really good swing tackle for us. But there's definitely possibilities for him. People talk about him having shorter arms, so who knows? This just say Will Fries doesn't pan out, he could be your new right guard. You
Right.
keep O'Neal and you kick him into right guard if for some reason we don't keep Will Fries. That's a cheaper option as well too,
Yeah.
with the big contract that Will Fries has. So there's definitely some different options. Demond Claiborne. So, we drafted him in the 6th round. He was in for a visit, and he's a speedy guy. He's a little bit smaller, but so is Devon Achane. Devon Achane is only 5'8". So at 5'9", Claiborne, he's speedy. He's a good ball catcher as well. Now, we got Aaron Jones on the team. We got Jordan Mason. At best, he's a running back 3, at least for this year. Learning the offense, at least initially, he's a running back 3. But at the end of the year into next year, Aaron Jones probably is not on this team. We brought him back, I think, because, that was a safety net. Because of the options that we maybe didn't bring in free agency, and we didn't know how the draft was going to pan out. And I still think that was a good move, and Aaron Jones has stuff left in the tank and played well last year. So I thought that was a good move. But, does he have the possibilities, though, do you think to get some meaningful reps this year? And do you see him as a potential combo with Jordan Mason going into 27? You see that happening?
I would say I do see him playing because we all know Aaron Jones is older now. And last year, I think every game he played, he left. I don't think he ever even played a full game. So I do think the running back going to play. And this is Mason last year under contract with the Minnesota Vikings. So I don't know. Do Mason want to stick around? I don't know what they're going to like at that part though. But I think Claiborne is going to play, and I like. To me, that Claiborne pick had Frank Smith all over that pick. Because like you said, he's similar to Achane. So I do think he's going to play. I will say we will get a little glimpse, like, dang, he looked good. But he won't play a lot because Aaron Jones gonna eventually come back. Then you got Mason. Then I do like Scott. I ain't gonna lie, I do like Scott.
I do like Xavier Scott too. That is a conundrum.
Hey, he had a good preseason last year. Well, to me, he did, but I do like Scott. Though, but I do think Claiborne, he will get a few carries this year due to the injuries. Aaron Jones all day.
Aaron Jones has a tendency to get nicked up here and there as well too. We got Purple Jesus in the building. Sup nerds? He
Lefty,
says.
that's my boy Lefty. What's the deal?
Now he's talking about Caleb Banks here. He said the Vikings team doctors know what they're doing. If the doctors aren't worried about his foot, then neither should you be.
No.
I mean, I can agree with that to an extent. I mean, I have no doubt that the Vikings have done extensive research on this over and over to make sure, hey, is it going to be something to where it's too risky to draft him, especially at 18?
Right.
So I have no doubt that they did their due diligence, but we still got to talk about it as still a risky draft to take him at 18, to not trade back and to try to get him. It's still a little bit of a risk, but the reward, the potential was just too big for Minnesota to pass up from everything that we're hearing. So I can agree with that. And, the SKOL Doc is I'm not saying he, because I really can't speak to his professional side of the house, but, at least as a foot doctor, he can talk about how some of that is. He doesn't think that that'll have any effect or impact as long as it heals, from the surgery that he had. He should heal back just fine, where he's not going to lose explosiveness or strength from that.
Right.
So it's just a matter of, does he have a freak re-injury? And when we're talking about 7 or 10% chance of him ever re-injuring the same, injury on that left foot, that's still a pretty low chance.
Right.
I think when I hear 7 to 10%, so if we're just talking about that, now he could have other injuries because
Yeah.
there's other things that people. I'm not worried about that. So when I hear 7 to 10%, that it seems like hey, before when he re-injured it, he didn't have the surgery because the doctors at Florida, basically whoever was advising him with probably bad advice, advised him not to go get the surgery or that he didn't need it initially, and that was probably why he re-injured it or injured it more.
Right.
So he probably should have had it the first time. So it's probably only lingering because he didn't get it properly addressed the first time. You know.
Mhm.
So hopefully this took care of that, and hopefully we're good.
Yeah.
Angel Duster says, "What's up, crew? Thanks for joining us. Appreciate that. Hey, those of you guys that were joining us, if you didn't already, I just want to pitch this out again. If you're not already, oh, I need to get rid of that one. If you're not already following us, again, make sure that you go to Vikes Playbook on YouTube. Once we get to 250 subscribers, I'm going to give away a certified Addison autographed jersey. So go ahead and check that out. It's completely free, and it's going to one of the 250 once we reach that. I think we're at 100 or just about 100 now. So please spread the word, repost the streams, repost, this little ad that I have out there about giving away a Jordan Addis, because that's only step one of the giveaways that I plan to do this year. So I have multiple jerseys, autographed, certified jerseys that I plan on doing some other cool things this year. But I can't do that until we reach this first goal, which I'm trying to get some more exposure out there. So I'm asking you guys to help me put the word out, and let's get some more followers, especially there on YouTube, expand the reach, and then let's give away to one of you guys a lucky fan and follower, a Jordan Addison signed jersey. And we will
Are
be doing a
you
card break as well here towards the end of this stream tonight with Zoe.
are you on TikTok and Instagram?
I am. Yep. I have. It's hard because I got a full time job as well too. So trying to keep up on all the social media, it makes it tough a little bit to do all that, have kids, and do
Yeah.
all the things. I'm going to be coaching t-ball, and
Oh yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
it's hard to do it all. But and writing for Purple PTSD, man,
right,
it takes a lot to do it. But I love it, and so I'm trying to do my best. And one day, hopefully, I'm lucky enough, like Brev, to be doing this full time
right.
and
That's
being
the
able
goal.
to. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm working towards that, and hopefully that comes to fruition at some point too.
Facts.
Barber Fade Up says Derrick Henry came back from a foot injury, and look how he runs now. Yeah, absolutely. We've talked multiple times. I think when you were on, though, we talked about Adrian Peterson had injury concerns coming out of the draft. He turned out okay for us, I think,
Yeah,
too.
like man,
Absolutely.
Vikings fans just love to complain. Like they just love to complain.
I mean, let's look towards the positive part. If he stays healthy, I mean, we addressed. You get better first within the trenches. If your trenches aren't good and strong, it's hard to get better without that. We saw it
Right,
last year. We didn't have a healthy offensive line. A lot of different mismatches that we were trying in combinations. And what happened from that, I don't think it mattered who we had at quarterback last year. Not staying healthy really hurt us on the offensive line. So
exactly.
if we can stay healthy and we invest in the trenches young through the draft, and at least if we get that right, or at least a good part of it right through the draft, that's how we get better. That's how we get younger. That's how we get at least a little bit cheaper on the salary cap side of the house, so we can go out and if we are close, we can go out and maybe get some of those key free agents, key pieces that we might be missing.
Exactly.
Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other things that I want to take a look at from this little group that we have. So the group that we have that's coming out is undrafted free agent standouts that we brought in as well too. And I don't know how you're on all over the place, but I don't know how much you've had an opportunity to take a look at this list. And this is just kind of our undrafted free agent list as far as who we brought in. So some of these names, Scooby Williams, Thomas Remack, Tristan Lee, that was really highly touted. That a lot of people were surprised that was still around. That we got Dylan Bell. I've heard a lot of good things about that Georgia wide receiver. Talking about how actually Georgia didn't use him properly with all of the different things that he can do and how versatile he is, and that he just needs an opportunity to do it. It heard some really good positive things in the media about Marcus Allen, how he could be one of the standouts from this year's undrafted free agent class. So a lot of good things that we're starting to hear about, even just the possibilities. Now, you can only have 53 to start the year, right? But are there any of these undrafted free agents that just pop out to you that you're excited may have a chance to have an impact or make the team?
I like I've been hearing a lot about Scooby Williams. I've been hearing a lot about him. And I also like,
And I still think we need linebacker depth, in
yeah,
special teams.
we do need that. We do need that. And Dylan Bell, I like Bell. I like what I seen last year from Bell. I can't believe he went. I can't believe he went undrafted. But like you said, like you spoke on Marcus Allen. I
Mm-hmm.
like Marcus Allen, man. Marcus Allen is I think he's 6'2", 6'3". He's something like he a tall corner, but like we all know we need corner help though. But
Right.
like I like Allen, I like Bell, I like Scooby. But they brought in a lot of UFDA. You can't keep them all though, but they brought in a lot of UFDA. I think might crack the 53-man roster. I can
What
see
do you
Marcus. I can see
what,
Marcus Allen cracking it.
what does the chat think? Chat. Are there any of those undrafted free agents that you really like that you think, hey, they have a chance of making the 53? Here's a list here real quick, Chad. Is there any that really stand out to you? I know we've heard about some of these guys. For me, I feel like we got to find a way somehow to get Dylan Bell cannot fall to someone else. Barber
No,
straight up says, "Hey, Bell," just how versatile he can be. And I
yeah.
agree with you, Barber. Uh, Dylan Bell has to find his way on this roster somehow. Now, we take a look. Once we get a little bit closer into the year and training camp and stuff like that, we'll start playing the 53-man roster game. But we may bring in a veteran receiver that we're going to talk about here next as well too. So that's 3 spots that are already gone. Ty Felton's going to be on this team. That's already 4. What are we going to do at the kick return situation? That would bring us to 5. We've had 6 receivers on the team before, and that could happen again this year. It just kind of matters what we do. There's a lot of defensive tackles we're going to keep on this team that we're not going to let go by the wayside. So that's another position where we're probably keeping 6, 7 individuals on the defensive tackle position. We need to be somewhat deeper because we saw what happened early last year on the cornerback position. That we're going to be keeping 4 or 5 safeties. When we start playing the 53-man roster game, we signed the guy out of Buffalo on the line. We just picked up Tiernan, so our offensive line is probably keeping 7, 8 folks as well too. So we'll have to see what that all looks like. D Woods chiming in, SKOL State of Mind. He says Bell reminds me a lot of Cordell Patterson.
Well,
And
I don't know how you would take that. I don't. Well,
well, so I think what he means is, Cordero had a lot of talent, potential, skill. The biggest problem that Cordero Patterson had was some of the route running in his hands. That's really what hurt him. Is he was so raw. But I mean, he was really talented as a kick returner, punt returner for sure. We know that. And we saw how he developed even into a running back in a role down with Atlanta. It's just that, that's just what kind of talent that some people are saying that Dylan Bell, basically tell him where you want him to play and the kid can play it,
right.
and that's, so SKOL State of Mind again. D was the same, freaky athletic, not good at running routes, but when the ball is in his hands, dangerous. Yeah, I agree. Dylan Bell, but again, I haven't watched enough on him to know, like, hey, does does he just not have good hands? Or,
Oh,
like some
he can
people are
catch.
saying, yeah, so some people are saying that just Georgia didn't utilize him correctly.
Their
So
quarterback was horrible though.
yeah, so I mean, that's part of the utilization why maybe he didn't stand out as much or get the opportunity in the limelight to do so. D Woods
Mhm.
also said Patterson won the Super Bowl in New England uh, as a backup running. Oh yeah, in New England
Dang.
he was a backup running back. There, yeah, I mean he just has some of those crazy athletic skills where he can do a lot of different things, and that takes talent and that takes crazy athleticism, kinetic. Eric says he likes Tristan Lee, Scooby, Lemieux, Allen, Thorson, in his opinion. Thorson's the punter that's on that list too.
Oh, yeah, a lot of
And
people like him.
yeah, but what do? We signed Johnny Hecker, right?
It-
So
how much guaranteed money is for the other one?
yeah,
He,
so
he old
it'll be
anyway.
interesting. The fact that they wanted to bring in Thorson says something, and I don't know, if it's, maybe they take a look at him and they're able to sneak him onto the roster in 27. That's part of taking a look at him now. But we've seen how sometimes that works out with kickers and stuff like that too. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that because, Johnny Hecker's, he's an older punter. Yes, he's a good punter, but how much time does he have left?
Man,
Whereas, I think what Eric's trying to point out is, Thorson could be our punter of the future, young guy that we have on the team for quite a while.
I
As long as he can perform in the position.
I tell you what, if that punter look good in preseason, that old head got to go. Cause I'm always for it. Man, play the young buck. Let like he had it like play the young boy.
Yeah, and we're going to talk more about it, with the salary cap as situations keep going with this team. But salary cap when it comes to wide receiver, we just had Juwan Jennings, former San Francisco wide receiver, in here, and he had 9 touchdowns last year, over 600 yards receiving for San Fran, and immediately bringing him in makes us one of, if not the best wide receiving corps out there. If he is in here, he was here for 2 days, left without a deal. At least what's being said is, there's still a possible deal from Alec Lewis saying that both sides are still talking, and that Minnesota would prefer a 1 year deal, is what I'm hearing. Or sorry, that was from Darren Wolfson. Would prefer a 1 year deal. Now, a couple different things with this, though. When we're talking about a multi-year deal, if that were to be the case, then you're saying basically, hey, Jordan Addison's going to be out the door because Juwan Jennings, he's going to suck up a lot of the Grenard salary cap that we saved. A lot of that, would go to him because
Mm-hmm.
he's looking for a bigger deal. Yes, the nine touchdowns is good, but it's not like he had 1,000 yard season. So it can't be too crazy, but it's probably around that 15 to 18 $1 million money mark of the kind of money that he probably is trying to command. I'm sure Minnesota is trying to bring him on a low teen uh, type of 1 year prove it year, maybe even a little bit cheaper than that. But and that's probably why he didn't sign the deal initially. He probably wants to test the market to see who else is interested and what kind of money deals that he can get right now. But I like the single year. I like the prove it type scenario if it is Juwan Jennings. But we also have some other holes we have to think about. Yes, we brought in Eric Johnson second. He's a depth piece at defensive end. Could if we sign somebody like a DeAndre Hopkins or a Keenan Allen type individual that maybe is going to be closer to around the 5 million for a 1 year type deal, we have the flexibility to go out there to maybe sign another safety. Because we or have a cap room if Harrison's trying to come back, right? We don't know what kind of deal that would look like if it's just a vet minimum or what it's going to be. Or we can go out there and also, try to bring in another, competent depth, a defensive end in here to get into that rotation as well too, because now that we don't have Grenard, there's not a whole lot of depth behind Andrew Van Ginkel and Dallas Turner.
Right. I don't like the receiver spot is interesting. I always say play the young boys, but we don't know if Todd Felton is ready for that role. Dylan Bell, people say he barely can run routes, so we don't know. Me personally, honestly though, I give Jennings a 3-year deal. The third year will be an out option. Then, depending on what happened with Addison, I might shop Addison and see what I can get for him. Because what is the point giving Addison $28 million and you paying Justin Jefferson? You got Justin Jefferson, run with the older receiver that is way cheaper compared to Addison for your receiver number 2. Then you see what you have in the young boy. Then you can move off of Jennings. But that's the way I would do if I'm the Vikings. Because me personally, I don't want to pay Jordan Addison. I'm not paying no $28 million. And that's not me saying that I think he's a bad wide receiver.
And that's if we're lucky. I think that price is if we're lucky. I think he's due for a big year this year. And if he would have had the year that he had previous to that, or the year that planned, if he hits a 1,000-yard season, I think there's a lot of teams out there that view him as a potential number 1. And I think he views himself as that. Right. He's going to try to get paid closer to that $30 million if he has a big year. Last year wasn't one of those type years where he could command that. So he's hoping he has that type of year. And that's going to be a really tough conversation to have of paying 2 wide receivers like the Bengals have done, to where you're forking out that kind of money for your 1 and 2 wide receivers. So I can agree with that. It's just at least for this year, I would love to see a 1-year deal, and then you can kind of see how things play out between Addison and Jennings. And then hopefully sign one of those individuals to a more palatable type deal, if possible.
But like Jennings, though, I'll give him a 3-year deal with about $32 million in guaranteed money. Depending on what happened with Addison, because no matter what, he's cheaper than Addison. 15 and 14 are cheaper than 28 and 30. So I'd rather get Jennings a 3-year deal. The third year will be an out option for me with no money kicked down the line. Then hopefully one of the receivers we drafted this year or maybe next year can pop, and we got a nice wide receiver room. Because I don't want to it make no sense paying 2 wide receivers over $20 million in your team. Not even like that.
I don't see Jordan Addison staying on that $18 million 5th-year option next year. I see there being a boiling point where there's either a deal that happens after this season or he is traded. And that could be during the season, depending on how it goes, or after the season, because what you can't do is you can't let him dictate or push his way out and end up in a Jonathan Grenard type situation where he's worth more than maybe what you got, but he's asking for new deals, which complicates trades.
Right.
So if you can find a trade partner a little bit earlier, obviously he's worth a little bit more, especially if somebody thinks that they're going to be able to keep him on dictate the terms and negotiate a new contract, or keep him on that 5th-year option. And I think if they trade him, does he still stay on that 5th-year option, or does that go away and they have to make him a new deal? I'm not 100% on that.
The other team will offer him a new contract, and he will take that new contract if he get traded.
Yeah. We also got Norris in the house. Norris,
my guy.
He says, "Hey boys," so it's good to have him in here. He's always he's on almost every podcast as well too. Some of these guys, Barber and all them alike. Tech Jedi is here.
Yeah, Viking got a good fan base on YouTube, a good community for real.
Loyal base, right?
I think, man, I would have to say probably best in the NFL for real, because we got a lot of Vikings content creators on YouTube.
Yeah, it's surprising, and there's definitely a few of us that have some really good friendships that have been made through this. Not even just the podcasters, but some of these very same individuals that are in the chat right now. So appreciate your guys' dedication and appreciate you guys joining us here in the chat. All right, so we've talked a little about Jennings and who else. So we're talking about Juwan Jennings, TJP. Thanks for joining us. So Juwan Jennings could be an option. So I want your guys' thoughts in the chat. Do you want Juwan Jennings? He's got to take some payroll. There's Deebo Samuel that's out there. There's Tyreek Hill, who could be an option coming off of an injury. There's Keenan Allen that's out there. DeAndre Hopkins, who has a former chemistry with Kyler as well. Out of those 5 options, what do you like trying to go with this year? Do you want to roll with Ty Felton as a wide receiver 3? And hopefully, he's put on some muscle, worked on some things this offseason, and he could come back and surprise us this year. And I hope he does that, whether he's wide receiver 3 or 4. But what options do you like best out of those 5 or 6, if you're saying roll with Ty?
It's just the point with me, like, I don't have no problem with Ty being wide receiver 3. My whole issue is the depth at the what happened if Addison got to miss a game or 2, or he got to come out of a game, or what happened if him and Justin Jefferson got to miss a game or 2? Then we got a whole bunch of unknown moving up the wide receiver tree, and like we screwed. What is we doing?
Tech Jedi says, I want to deliver the cardboard boxes to KOC's office as soon as possible. Does that count? The Tech, not a big KOC fan for sure. Norris says, Jesus, you're in the next year's draft already?
No, he's talking about somebody. He's talking about somebody in the chat.
Somebody in the chat's talking about that. Connect was talking about Cam Cohen next year. You got to look at it because it's gonna be something that if Addison's not here or we don't have the Jennings type contract or anything like that, you're going to be looking at someone additionally, even if Ty Felton's able to step up a little bit as well too. So
right, exactly.
Kinetic says he's already posted 2037 like that in the Raptors score. I think he's talking about 2027, not 2037, but he says 2027. So that probably makes a little bit more sense.
I'm about to say, damn, you're ahead of the game.
All right. So topic number 4 that I want to talk about. So, and I missed part of it. So at least we could talk about the big rant, the Ryan Grigson rant too. But here's a list that I kind of put together. These are this is in no order as well too. But these are just like some of the GM names that are being talked about. And I don't have, so not everyone's going to be on. These are just some names. There's different people are going to that are going to pop on here. I've heard Hallaby's name from the Philadelphia Eagles as well too. I didn't have time to throw him on this list as well, but there's other individuals that could show up here. Now, there was a post that was made on the Minnesota Vikings official X, and what they came out and basically said from the Wilfs is, they're going to be using Key Turn ZRG as well as from Alex Lewis on PA show on KFAN. Talking about how there's going to be an internal group as well. So those two groups are going to come together to help make the decision. The biggest question I have with all of that, is also going to be, who is going to be the individual that's going to be, after these two groups say, hey, I want this individual. No, I want this individual. Once that all happens, who's going to end up being the individual that has the final say?
That's Mark. That's Mark Wills.
So is it? We don't know, but so we know that Rob Brzezinski has at least said that he is interested in the GM job and he has a lot of support within the organization. That doesn't mean he's going to get the job, but obviously he has a leg up on the rest of the competition, to get the job. But as far as the options and the individuals that you see on here, you're going to see that some people have ties. Terrence Gray, he's the Buffalo Bills assistant GM. He's a former Viking scout. There's also some other individuals like Brian Stark. He's an assistant GM down with the Raiders. He has ties to Kevin O'Connell. You're also going to see like Reed Burkhardt, Denver Broncos assistant GM. He's a former Viking scout with Minnesota ties. So there's different individuals. John McKay, you've heard a lot about. Jason Harmon's a big John McKay fan down with the Los Angeles Rams. And again, I mentioned Hallaby, who's the assistant GM, who's I guess moving on to do different things. I haven't seen exactly what he's planning on moving on. If that was like, hey, I'm moving on because I'm pursuing GM positions, like maybe with the Vikings. I don't know. But when you see the names on this list, you know, in the job that Rob Brzezinski has done, obviously I don't want to lose him. I think I think actually Jason Harden made the post that, you know, it was like a meme thing that, you know, arguing that Rob is too valuable to be GM. Basically, as a salary cap guy, we need to keep him as a salary cap. But if you're bringing somebody, you know, it's great that some of these guys have Vikings ties. I think the one thing that we need to be cautious about is that we don't bring in somebody that's a big KOC guy. And the only reason I say that is I want the individual to look at that situation, whether he does good, whether he does bad, you know, to where if there has to be a tough decision that is made, and obviously the GM and a coach are going to end up having a relationship no matter who you hire. They're going to have some type of relationship. But whoever comes in, I want them to not come in and think they got hired because Kevin O'Connell said, I want this guy. You know, I want them to come in and with an even keel or even mindset or a balanced mindset, be able to make the decisions that they think are best for the team. Now, I'm not mad at this draft. We know that coaches, you know, especially Brian Flores, had a lot of input on this draft. I'm not mad about the draft that we had so far. We don't know how it's going to turn out. We got to wait like a good 2-3 years to really just kind of look back and, you know, was this a good draft? But I think we just need to bring in somebody that's, you know, going to be able to be the GM, especially when we take a look at different coaching hires and firings, and be able to make a decision that's, you don't have a coach that maybe has power over them.
Best for the team.
Yeah, what's best for the organization, the team.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know, what are your thoughts?
Man, honestly, like Rob is cool, but to me, Rob got too many red flags. Like, you was here when you brought in Kirk Cousins. You were part of that triangle. You were part of the people that said no to Jim Harbaugh. You wanted KOC. So, me, honestly, on that list, I like Chad Alexander coming from the Chargers because he is an Ozzie Newsome protege. He ran with Newsome with Ozzie when he was at Baltimore for all them years. So, and he been a football guy. I want to say he's been around for like 30 years. And we all know how the Ravens used to draft. The Ravens had one of the best GMs at the time in the NFL. So Chad Alexander, to me, is a person you bring in because he had no ties to no KOC, to no Brian Flores. He know football. And a lot of people say he know how to. I read an article months ago that the GM at the Chargers now, he said everywhere he go, he take him with him because he know how to identify talent. So me personally, I'd take a swing on him. Football guy.
You know, and even if we have an individual, I mean, even when we're talking about, you know, the Juwan Jennings situation, you know, I want a GM that's going to come in and not because, you know, I think you take it under consideration, obviously, you know, if a coach thinks someone's a good fit for their offense and a good locker room fit, all that good stuff. Absolutely. You know, and D Wood says a football guy, LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, aren't most of these guys football guys? But it should be if they've been in it for quite a while. But and I think what they mean by that is not somebody that just lives by analytics. and somebody that's more of a football guy, maybe coming from some of that scouting background as well too, or even a former player. That could be, who you're talking about. But I want somebody to come in and actually make good decisions, based on what they think is good for the football team, taking in consideration of what the coaches want. But
But
that's something that we gotta take a look at.
but Steve, though, at the end of the day, are the Wilfs or is Mark willing to change his approach when he hire a new GM? Can he have full control, or are he gonna keep on doing the triangle thing that never worked?
No, I think that's what it depends who's hired, right? And we'll see. We'll really see. And I think they're trying to take a different approach, and we can analyze the turnkey ZRG, type method and what they're trying to do. We'll have to see who gets hired, from all of this, and kind of analyze it from there.
Oh yeah,
If it's Rob Brzezinski, you
I'm gonna
know,
be mad.
I think then that's kind of the situation like you're talking about,
Yeah.
where it is more of a triangle type situation. But if it's somebody from the outside, um, it, I think it's okay if they have Vikings ties. But bringing someone from the outside that's going to come in and it's their job, you know, they're the ones making the GM decisions. I think that's a great thing.
But
Um, yeah, go
but
ahead.
like this ZRG group, I
Hmm.
did my homework on them. I haven't identified one GM this firm to hire for an NFL team. They were hired by Atlanta Falcons with another firm to find the head coach. That when they hired Kevin Stefanski. But at the end of the day, what had this firm done for them to hire them to locate them a GM? Where it's really not hard to put a list together on your own to find a
Hmm.
GM. So basically, you hiring Chat GPT to find you a GM.
Yeah, I mean they're putting together an internal piece, and I think this is just me personally. I think this was an attempt for them to, because they have a relationship with Rob Brzezinski, and I think they're trying to take that emotion out of it and bring in somebody from the outside, even though it's Chat GBT, whatever you want to call it, turnkey. I don't think that's necessarily what they're doing, but I think bringing in somebody from the outside to come look, and then also making sure that they have an inside group that's also probably uh, a part of this. But I think this is them trying to take the relationship out of it, or at least their relationship with Rob Brzezinski, because I think if they do it this way, and let's just say that they don't pick Rob, they can say, "Hey, we brought in somebody from the outside, and they thought this was the best situation. We still love you, Rob, and we want to keep you in the organization. You've been here for 28 plus years. We want to keep you as our, the executive VP where we had you before. Are you willing to stay in that position?" I think that's the approach that they're trying to take by doing this, rather than them solely making the decision and Rob feeling like, you know, um, they didn't have enough trust in them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I
I think they're
guess.
too close. I think they're too close to the situation, because let's just say that you were hiring your co-host, you know, and it's just you making the decision, and D Woods is uh, interviewing for the job. Are you too close to the situation?
Right,
To make that call, and then what happens if you tell D Woods no?
right.
He's your boy. So what happens to that relationship? And I think, I know he has his own pod and everything, but you get the point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, of
If
course.
that's your boy, and I think that's kind of the same thing here, and I think it's good to kind of, yeah, you're still going to be involved with it, but kind of take some emotions and get a second outside view, because there's too many people on the inside that like Rob Brzezinski. So if it's just the organization making the decision themselves, because I think that there's a feeling where they like Rob a lot, but I think
Just,
that they also know that it would be good to bring in somebody that it's not coaches having too much power and
but
what's going on,
but
and somebody from the outside.
but Steve, like I was telling D Woods and them earlier, and they were talking crazy. At the end of the day, if you was a person looking for your first GM job, and you seeing the way the Minnesota Vikings did Quasi, why would you take this job and you know you're not going to have full control and do what normal GMs do? And when shit goes sideways, you're going to get blamed and you're going to get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the end of the day, the Vikings, man, we had too many people that got opinions on what the team should do. Like right now, I'm gonna ask you this: What do Ryan Grissom even do? What do Wes Phillips even do for the Vikings?
And when we, Tech Jedi says anyone who uses the word collaboration this year is getting slapped with a chicken wing. Just saying. For Ryan Grigson to not just immediately step into that job when Quasi left says it all. It came down to they had Rob step into that role and asked him to step in that role because they didn't trust Ryan Grigson to be in that role. So the fact that, and I didn't put him on my list intentionally because I don't think that's a serious consideration. Now, they may be saying that because he's part of the organization. Nice. Yeah, Rob, you're going to have a chance. No, Rob, you don't. And you don't have a chance because if you did, you were the assistant GM. Anyone else who's the assistant and your boss leaves, isn't the natural thing for you to step up as the interim? What happens when a head coach gets fired? Doesn't one of the assistants step up into that role to be the interim coach until they make a hire? They didn't trust Ryan to do that.
But back to that, though. So why he didn't get fired?
I know, right? We all wondering that. I agree.
No, that's the whole point I got with this whole GM search. It don't really matter. It's gonna be a different guy gonna be a Quasi. Cause if Ryan was on board on hiring Quasi and he was assistant GM, in the way the draft went, y'all both should have been walked off the door.
And Grigson doesn't have a good record, even when he was with the Colts in the draft.
That's why Andrew Luck left.
He's not a serious candidate.
So he bring my comment about the career builder.
Now I want to get to this. What's going on with some of this beef with Tech Jedi? Tech Jedi is saying I would pay good money to see Zoe run a route on the football field.
Man, I don't know why he said that. I play football. I don't know why I play football. I don't know why he would say that.
What position did you play, Zoe?
I played tight end, linebacker, DN, and quarterback.
You know what's going to happen, Tech, is he's going to have some cell phone video that's going to pop up just to shut you up of him running the route. I hope you catch the ball, though. But he's going to run a route, try to shut you up. It's going to be fun. But you should do that. You should do that. I think that would be fun as well too. Yeah, D was I did. You had said they're not a hiring firm. He's talking about Turnkey and ZRG. They're a firm that rounds up all the candidates. Think of it as career builder back in the day. It doesn't matter who you bring, who brings you the list, the employer hires. Yeah,
I feel no, but at the end, like I asked before, Steve, that's cool though, but what had they done as a firm in the NFL?
Yeah, I can't speak highly on that, but I mean, again, we're gonna have to see how it all plays out. They're already part of the situation, whether we like it or not. Yeah, Tech Jedi. I hope he catches the ball.
Yeah.
Zoe gonna run a route at SKOL Fest.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of all I want to say on the GM search, and I think you and I kind of both, agree to a certain extent that I think we need to bring in somebody from the outside. I like Rob. I just want Rob to be as executive VP.
I feel you. I feel you on that. Like, I wouldn't be mad if Rob got the job, but I'd be like, okay, but.
And if he fails, then we lose Rob for good, and that sucks too, because he's good at what he does right now. I don't think he should be punished for doing good at the job that he's currently doing, and that'd be like you saying that someone doesn't deserve a promotion because they're
Right.
so good at what they currently do. So I get that part of it too. It's just it sucks. It's hard. It'll be a tough decision for sure. And I do like the fact, maybe it's not the right firm that they brought in to help them
Yeah,
with
that's
13 ZRG, but I think that's what the attempt was made. So maybe they got some, mixed or bad advice there with bringing in turnkey. But I think that's what they were trying to do, is to at least make it an attempt to where, it's not just everyone in the building that loves Rob that's
who
making the decision.
who you want for GM?
When I take a look at, even just this list that's on there, I know a lot of people are talking about John McKay. I just don't think
Hell no. Nah. I mean,
I
heck
don't think
no.
I think that he's too close to the O'Connell thing. I think, I do like the opportunity of bringing in somebody from a winning organization. So I'm not looking at anyone that's coming from the Browns. I'm not looking from anyone that's coming from the Titans. Could be a possibility. I like some of the things that, Reed Burkhart's on this list. He's got scout ties. I kind of like that. Maybe it's somebody that also takes a look at their scouting department as well too. Do we make some different situational changes there too? I don't think we need to clean house type of thing. But taking a look at some of these individuals that maybe have done a good job, Andy Weidel, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, they've made a lot of good decisions as far as good draft picks and developing players through the draft. So individuals that have been part of that kind of situation, winning teams, seeing what winning culture looks like, and teams that have built through the draft. I think that's really, I don't think I've settled on any one candidate, but that's what I would say is I'd like to see them hire somebody from a winning
Yeah.
organization
I,
that
I,
has been around, of what the culture is like and what it takes to get to the next level. That's for sure.
yeah, I agree with you.
Everyone's chiming in on what kind of route you're going to run now.
He
He's
said a
like, it's got
bubble.
a bubble screen. So, Zoe ain't even moving. He's just turning, looking, and catching.
Hey, get that Seattle assistant G. I don't like at the end of the day, man, I don't know. Like, I don't know shit. Who knows?
The Seattle did a lot of good things, building through the draft really quick.
You ain't
They've
lying.
done it multiple times. They've
you
done it multiple times. So that could be an option too. I mean, all I'm saying is they know what worked to get to the big game and win the big game and be successful through the draft. And that's how we need to build, is through the
yeah,
draft, and hit on our picks and not give them all away with old free agents that just don't work out. All right,
exactly.
so we're gonna move on. We're getting kind of close to the end of the show. I want to do something real quick, and I think this is cool. Let me put that background back on. All right, so this is kind of cool. So I'm gonna do some different things throughout the year in different packs. So I have packs like, and if you're not seeing it, like Absolute Football, so I got a little bit of a glare there going on, but checking out some different stuff. I got some Prisms and Mosaic Megas, over there. I've been pulling different packs and stuff like that. One I did last week as well too, is this is a Leaf Eclectic 1 of 1, and kind of a fun little game that I plan on doing with card breaks. It may be packs like this throughout the year, where I tell you, those of you that are live in the chat, to call out a different team or a player, depending on the different pack that I'm ripping. And if I pull that player or that team, you get those cards if you want them. That is, and obviously if it's a really good, hit, or like a 3-color patch, 4-color patch RPA, it's probably worth a lot of money. That's cool for you. I mean, it's sad for me that I didn't rip it. Sorry, I almost ripped this early, but I plan on tonight ripping this Leaf Eclectic 1 of 1. You can get signature cards out of this as well too. Now, the thing with this is, with the Eclectic pack, this could be current NFL players, or it could be college players. So you could also get signatures out of here that are college players. So what I want you guys to do in the comments is, I'm going to go ahead and rip this card live with you guys. And I want you to pick a team that's an NFL team. And Zoe, you can do this as well too and be a winner. I want you to pick an NFL team and I want you to pick a college team because this could be a college player. So you're going to get two options. Kinetic. Now, Kinetic has already went and picked Minnesota. So he's picked Michigan and Minnesota. It's first come, first serve, guys. So pick your NFL team, pick your college team. Now, is that Michigan or Michigan State?
Yeah, I got Michigan Wolverines. He ain't Pacific.
I already know who your Kinetic wants. Michigan Wolverines is who he's talking about.
He might be a state fan.
Yeah. So go ahead, put your college team, put your NFL team. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do so in the comments. So if you're on YouTube, X, Facebook, wherever you're watching us, go ahead and put your NFL team, put your college team in there. I'm going to rip this thing live. And Zoe, go ahead. You can put yours in the comments.
He took my team.
You know, you could get lucky, and it's either just a cool card, or it could be something valuable. You can pull a potential $200, $300, $400 signature card out of it.
Connecticut took both of my teams.
Tech Jedi saying Oregon and the Buffalo Bills. Okay. Think of the different players that you want to rip out of here. Actually, I think last time we pulled an Oregon player. Last time we did this rip.
Who would I say?
Because I might forget. Make sure you throw it in the chat before it gets stolen there, Zoe. So just go ahead and throw that out. Norse is saying Alabama and the Browns.
I'm going to say.
While you guys are throwing that out, again, if you're not already following us, because I'm going to go through this while you guys are thinking of your teams. Again, we're also doing a Jordan Addison certified jersey giveaway. Jordan Addison, all right? And I got several more jerseys ready to go. Not just Jordan Addison either. So cool jerseys that are coming up. But the first one is Jordan Addison, and how you win is that you're subscribed to Vikings Playbook on YouTube. Once we hit 250, and let me just do a quick little check here real quick where we're at. Viewing the channel, we're at 98 subscribers now. Once we get to 250, I'm going to give away that Jordan Addison jersey. Once we get to 250, I'm going to announce a new giveaway and a new goal for us to reach, or a different type of giveaway. So I'm going to have some different jerseys coming all year. It's going to be really cool. Bob, where are you from? He says NDSU and Vikings. And, I wonder if I know you, Bob. So I'm a huge NDSU fan as well. So that's kind of cool, Bob. So I don't know exactly where you're from, or if you don't want to say, that's fine too. You can send me a private message if you want. But I'm pretty sure that, we probably ran into each other before. We got Alabama, the Browns. Tech Jedi has Oregon, Buffalo Bills.
He said, Bob say Fargo.
Fargo. Okay.
What that say?
Yeah. So I used to live in Fargo. I was in Fargo for about 13 years. So Tech Jedi, Oregon, Buffalo Bills. We got Alabama and Browns. Bob Sweet is NDSU and Vikings. Connecticut is Michigan and Minnesota. Zoe, you still need to put down something in there too.
I got one for you.
All right. So spread the word. If you go on my X, I have posts on there. Facebook, share it. Spread the word, because again, I can't give away this jersey until we get to 250, and I can't do that without your guys' help to help spread the word about this podcast and what we're doing. So make sure that you're sharing that. Appreciate that. Appreciate the love. Appreciate you guys following, tuning in, being active on chat. That always helps as well too. All right. So Zoe is saying USC and the Ravens. All right. And then make sure that you're following us on all of our other social media as well too, on X, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm trying to get those up and running as much as I possibly can as well too.
Get them subscribers up. Subscribe to the channel, please. It's free. Everything is free.
Everything's free. And I'm giving stuff to you guys, right?
And I'm about to clip a lot of clips off this video tonight too, though. Well, probably tomorrow.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Zoe, I want you to give another shout out to your podcast, and if you guys haven't already followed Zoe, which a lot of you guys are regulars, right? You already know who Zoe is. But if you haven't, or if there's someone that's watching this out here later, if you're not already following Zoe, he's everywhere, right? In the Zone Pod on X, and then on YouTube, it's In the Zone Sports. So again, that's ZOEN. So make sure that you have that. Zoe, I appreciate you joining us today. We're going to go ahead and do this rip here real quick, but I'm going to let you give one other shout out unless there's anything else, anywhere else that you have your podcast or what you're doing that you want people to follow other than X and YouTube that I highlighted.
Man, I'm on TikTok real heavy. I'm on TikTok real heavy. And I'm on Instagram.
How can people find you on TikTok?
My TikTok name is In the Zone. I think it's In the Zone Sports.
ZOEN, right?
Yeah, it's just like my name on YouTube. And on Instagram, it's the same name. And is in like everything in underscore IN underscore the underscore zone ZOEN underscore sports. Everything is just like my name.
Now, this one isn't for the rip because we're gonna do the eclectic, but I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick. So I've never bought any of these value packs, and I got a few different ones I've been testing out, but I haven't tried one of these 20 card value packs of absolute. I'm not gonna lie to you, I may have ripped a few already. I haven't hit anything real big. Got some cool Vikings cards as well too. You might have seen me posting about some of them here the last couple of days. But let me go ahead and rip this one real quick. And,
nobody think about no road ties.
So this one isn't for the giveaway, but just gonna do a cool little rip with you guys, and let's kind of see the different cards that I'm pulling out here. And these are the type of players I could. Now these are just base cards pulling out. I got Nico Collins, CD Lamb. These are all base right now. Kendre Miller, Kyron Williams. We're about to get to some of the other cards in here that may have some value. Cortland Sutton, Brandon Ayuk. We got Xavier Worthy there. Again, these are all base. What we got there? Trey Benson. Got Jaden Higgins. So this is one of the packs that I may do with you guys live here too. Oh, we got a Will Howard rookie wave. So that's a rookie.
Who?
Will Howard, maybe the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see what happens there.
We don't want to know nothing about Ohio State.
Will Howard on the rookie wave there. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Minnesota Vikings. We got Aaron Jones on the hog heaven. So we got a Minnesota Viking right there. So, if we were doing this rip with this many cards and stuff, I would probably have you ask for the player, not for the team.
Right.
This isn't for the win, Eric. This isn't the pack that we're doing, but this could have been, right? But this is the one that we're doing for the getaway. This is just something fun I want to do with you guys and see the kind of cards that I plan on ripping.
Hey, who is that right there?
This one is Jordan Birch, not Trey McBride.
Okay.
Shamir Dyke. We got Alec Pierce, James Cook. These are all, now these two are rookies here. So these aren't just base cards with Dyke and Birch, but they're just not the right players to really be anything good money-wise. But the rest of these are base. Kittle, Justin Herbert, Calvin Ridley. Oh,
that's a Viking.
Another Viking right there. Who's that? I think I got a jersey of that guy that I'm giving away. Jordan Addison.
Got Addy.
So Jordan Addison on the absolute. So, and then Breece Hall was that last one. All right. So that's a rip. I had two more packs I thought about doing, but you probably don't want to do those two packs with me. But I will be doing them. I'll probably post them somewhere when I ended up pulling out of these last two packs. But let's go ahead and let's get to the 101 that you guys said. Norris, I don't know if you got in on this. I don't think so. But real quick, Norris, I'm going to give you an opportunity. I need an NFL team for me that hasn't already been picked and a college team, Norris. Okay? Real quick, I'm going to give you an opportunity to jump in here. We got Michigan. Minnesota's already been taken. Oregon and Buffalo Bills. Oh, sorry, Norris was in here. Alabama.
Hey, Jedi crazy. Jedi nuts, man.
Grandpa Jones, let's go. All right.
And then you got one with Addison getting arrested.
he's like, I got other pods to get to. Text that places to be. All right, so man. Go ahead. We're doing the rip.
He said you already in.
I don't think anyone has this. They don't. Let me look. Let me look here first. It's right here. I don't think anyone picked this team.
That gotta be a Packer.
It's not. This is a Colt. This is the Indianapolis Colts. This is Edgerrin James.
Dang.
Edgerrin James right there. Pre-proof. Edgerrin James. So these are all 101s. This is a flashback 101 pre-production proof Edgerrin James on the Leaf Flash.
So
Again, I'll be doing this every week. I'll be doing either a 101 or I might do a pack and do a different type of guess the team, guess the player type deal.
So Steve, with the 101, so do they be worth money or something like that?
Yes.
Oh, they do?
Yep. And absolutely. So
where
like
you get them from?
So there's different places. Actually, I just went to my local Walmart for these that I just picked up today, just because I was in the store and I figured, hey, I haven't pulled one of these packs before, but I have a lot of different other ones that sometimes I'm getting from card shops as well too. So absolutely.
Man, you know what's crazy? When I was a kid, I used to collect football cards. Like I had 2 pages of the Minnesota Vikings and 1 page of the Denver Broncos because that was my team when I was a little kid. But when I moved, man, my mama ain't getting my football book. I used to collect a lot of cards.
Yeah, I got some really cool cards, and I plan on showing you guys some of the stuff, just some of the stuff that I've been able to pull. And I think this is exciting. Might give you guys a little bit more exciting for the kind of some of the stuff I'm doing and some of the packs that I might open. So I don't have it right here because I'm not at home right now. But some of the cards that you could potentially pull out of these. So like if I did a guess the player type deal, I will tell you I have just for an example, I have 2 different kabooms that can be pulled out of packs like this. So if you've never looked up kabooms, go to your Google. Look up what a kaboom is. They're a very highly sought after card. I got a couple horizontal kabooms, Jared Goff, and I also have a Max Crosby. I don't want to brag here live. Maybe I am, but a couple of those kabooms, you're talking, $500 right there just for one of those cards. So that's the type of thing that could come out if I'm doing a break and I'm doing a giveaway for example, a pack like this. For the pack that we just got done doing, this Eclectic Signature Series, I pull a Peyton Manning or something like that out of here with a signature out of this Eclectic pack. You're probably looking at a $300-400 card coming out of this Eclectic pack. So, I mean, that's kind of cool stuff that could come out of there. There's a lot of different packs that, I could potentially do for giveaways, or where there's cool, if you're a collector, uptowns, downtowns, there's cool things that you could potentially win. I mean, we didn't have a winner this week, but again, keep joining us because there's opportunities. Again, if you're following us to win a jersey, sign autographed jersey, and cards. It's cool.
I like that game.
North says Jared Goff card. No way he's worth $500. Absolutely, look it up. Ooh. Look it up, my man North. Kaboom, Jared Goff horizontal. Now verticals are worth more than the horizontals. But yeah, absolutely. Look that up all day, Norris, all day. You say it, and it's probably, some Jared Goff Lions hate going on there, but, so there's probably a little bit of tongue in cheek from Norris, but all right. Hey, I appreciate all you guys playing with. We'll continue to do that. Continue to put the word out. Jordan Aston jersey. Let's give it up in the chat again. Give an emoji, whether it be a route running emoji, whatever you can find for Zoe. But I want to find a little bit of love in the chat for Zoe for coming on today, for being with me, being my guest here, talking Vikings. And man, Zoe, thanks again for joining me. Hopefully we can do this again, whether it be on your pod or mine. Appreciate you coming on. You're a great guest. And again, the guy's everywhere, so make sure that you're following him.
I was about to tell you, like, man, we got to we need to link up a little more often, even like we really could do your channel to, to try to get the views and you know what I'm saying, like, or you come on, like, whatever the case might be. I still need, you know what I'm saying. We all need subscribers though, but we need to go live more often though. No matter who channel it is though. Whenever
I like that idea.
Whenever you free or you want a link, because me, I go live about 3-4 times a week. So whenever you want somebody else on your channel or you got nobody else, text me like a day before, even a couple hours before. I'll be ready to go live. I'll be ready to talk football on YouTube all day for real.
That sounds good to me. I'll try to do it when I can for sure. I can't promise that, at least at a pop-up notice that I could do a full show with you,
Right.
depending on when it is, just with family stuff, kids,
Oh
and
no, no,
events
that's
going on in
understandable
work.
though.
But yeah,
Everybody's time is
absolutely.
different.
So and that's why I try to do at least, and if we schedule something, yeah, I can make that work as well too with my
Yeah.
wife and everything like that. But that's why I try to schedule this one at 9 o'clock Saturdays. That way, at least guaranteed, at least once a week, that you're going to be able to find me here with
That's
Vikings
that's a,
Playbook.
that's a good time too though, cause ain't nobody else going live at the time at night. So that's a good time too though.
Thanks. I appreciate that. But again, Zoe, thank you so much. I appreciate it. This has been Vikings Playbook, and we can't do it without you guys, the followers, subscribers that are watching, being active. So Bob Norse, Two Tone, all you guys, Tech Jedi, appreciate it. Kinetic, TJP, appreciate it. Bob Swede, I think I mentioned him already, but all you guys, Kinetic, I can't say enough. You guys have been active all show. D Woods, jumping in, Brev. I appreciate it, guys.
I forgot though, Steve. We got to go live again, cause we ain't talk about the expectation about the Vikings, and we're going like how we feel about Kevin O'Connell. So we gotta do another live. Like, hey,
Absolutely. And
yeah,
well, that's gonna be a talker all throughout the off season,
yeah,
and going into the first game, especially can he adapt to Kyler Murray? And that's really what it is. It's not Kyler Murray adapting to KOC. KOC needs to adapt to Kyler Murray and or JJ McCarthy.
that's facts. That's facts.
So we'll definitely be talking more to that for sure. So appreciate all you guys joining us. This has been Vikings Playbook. Your Sunday starts here with Zoe. As always, appreciate it, guys. And until next time, have a good weekend. SKOL Vikings. We're out here.